550-4126. Casey's, the best in Fayette County.
Don't miss this year's Fayette County Fair, July 24th through August 2nd. Buy advance tickets now, online, or at an advance ticket location and save. Locations include All Around Fence Company, Armstrong, Big Barn, Country Feed and Supply, Fayette Chamber of Commerce, Eby and Scosi Tire, Jackson Farms, New Bowers Flowers, New Salem Mini Mart, various Somerset Trust locations, several Sweet Peace locations, and local United Bank locations. Visit FayetteFair.com for specific locations or to purchase online tickets. All rides, concerts, and entertainment are included in the ticket price. Save time and money. Buy your advance tickets now and save for the whole family. The Fayette County Fair, July 24th through August 2nd. For more info about ticket prices, the full schedule of events, where to buy advance tickets locally, or to buy tickets online, visit FayetteFair.com.
Fayette County Fair, incredible fun for everyone.
Your local station, WMBS.
Good morning, and welcome to another Saturday edition of the Sportsline, being brought to you this morning by my good friend Tom Vernon and Casey Sports Cafe, located right here on South Mount Vernon Avenue in Uniontown, the Firestone Insurance Agency in Normalville, and by Bogies at Duck Hollow, now under new management, serving lunches and dinners Monday through Saturday from 12 to 9 and Sunday from 12 to 5. Come on out, enjoy fine dining and a round of golf. Phone 724-439-2150, located at 374 Duck Hollow Road in Uniontown. George Von Benko with you on another warm Saturday morning. And I know you'll be out and about taking advantage of the good weather, but I hope you'll pause in your travels today and pick up the phone and give us a phone call, because, as I've said many, many times in the past, two-way sports talk is the lifeblood of any sports talk show, and I would love to hear from you this morning on a variety of subjects. Telephone number, if you'd like to jump into the conversation, 724-438-4593. Once again, that number, 724-438-4593 is the number to call. And we do have a guest later on in the 11 o'clock hour. Haven't talked any baseball for a while, mostly because what's happening with the Pirates is very depressing at times. But one of my favorites, long-time baseball scribe John Parado, will join me at 11:30 for some baseball talk. And that's coming up in hour number 2. But up until that time, your chance to get up on the soapbox and be heard, anything and everything pertaining to the world of sports is fair game. And that number again, if you'd like to jump in, 724-438-4593. Let's turn our attention to the scoreboard. And the Pirates notched a win last night at PNC Park, beating the slumping New York Mets by a score of 9-1. It was significant because Mitch Keller, who has pitched very well this year but has had no run support, picked up his second win of the season and his first since March. Other National League play: Cincinnati Reds over San Diego 8-1. Philadelphia shuts out Atlanta 13-0. Milwaukee Brewers 10, Colorado 6. Miami downs Arizona 9-8. Interleague play: St. Louis Cardinals shut out Cleveland 5-0. San Francisco beats the Chicago White Sox 3-1. Houston over the Chicago Cubs 7-4. LA Dodgers beat Kansas City 5-4, and the Washington Nationals in a slugfest take the LA Angels 15-9. American League play: New York Yankees shut out the Athletics 3-0. Minnesota over the Detroit Tigers 4-1. Toronto shuts out the Boston Red Sox 9-0. Baltimore beats up on Tampa Bay. The O's win it 22-8, and Seattle beats Texas 7-6. So that is a look at the scoreboard. Turning our attention to sports obituaries and two names that I remember very, very well from my youth as a young sports fan. From the world of football, Jerry Philbin, a star defensive end for the New York Jets during the 1960s and 70s, and a member of the franchise's lone Super Bowl championship team, died at the age of 83, the team announced on Wednesday. Philbin was the leading sacker on the 68 Jets, unofficially tallying 48 quarterback takedowns over the course of the regular season. In their historic upset win over the Baltimore Colts in Super Bowl III, Philbin paced the defense that forced the NFL champions into 5 turnovers, 3 interceptions by NFL MVP Earl Morrall, 1 by Johnny Unitas, and 1 fumble, and held the then 15-1 Colts to a season-low 7 points. Drafted out of the University of Buffalo by New York in the 3rd round of the 1964 AFL draft, Philbin opted to play for the Jets instead of the Detroit Lions, who took him in the 3rd round of the NFL draft. Philbin became a full-time starter by the end of his rookie season and soon became one of the best recognized defensive players of the Joe Namath era in New York. The pass rusher started 109 of 112 regular season games, played for the Jets, unofficially totaling 65 sacks, 4th in team history, and 1 interception over his 9 seasons in the Big Apple. Philbin tallied at least 10 sacks from 1966-69 through 1969, one of just 2 Jets players ever to accomplish that feat, the other being Verlon Biggs. Per the team, he finished his career with the Eagles in 1973. Philbin was a 2-time first-team All-AFL and AFL All-Star for the upstart Jets and is a member of the AFL All-Time Team, which was selected in 1970 ahead of the merger. He was inducted into New York's Ring of Honor in 2011 as a member of its 2nd class. Jerry Philbin passing away at age 83. And from the baseball world, boy, I had a lot of baseball cards of this guy back in the day, and I remember him very, very well. Diego Segui, a pitcher who appeared in the first game in franchise history for the Seattle Pilots and was the starter for the Seattle Mariners in their first game, has died. He was 87 years old. The Mariners said that Segui died Wednesday. No additional details were released. Segui played for the Pilots in their first game on April 8, 1969, against the California Angels. He was the starter for the Mariners in their opener on April 6, 1977, in the Kingdome against the Angels. And Segui pitched in 15 Major League seasons with the Kansas City/Oakland Athletics, Washington Senators, St. Louis Cardinals, and Boston Red Sox, in addition to both of the Seattle franchises. The 6-foot, 190-pound right-hander from Cuba led the American League in ERA in 1970 and finished his career with a 92-111 record, a 3.81 ERA in 639 games. After wrapping up his major league career, Segui pitched in the Mexican Professional League until 1984. He is a member of both the Venezuelan Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum and the Hispanic Heritage Baseball Museum Hall of Fame. In 2024, he was honored by the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum with its Negro Leagues Baseball Lifetime Achievement Award. Diego Segui, passing away at the age of 87. All right, we're going to open up the phone lines next. We have one line open if you would like to jump in. That telephone number, again, can never say it enough, 724-438-4593. We'll be back with more right after this.
Bogey's Restaurant at Duck Hollow Golf Club is open for the season. Check out Bogey's refreshed 2025 menu. Bogey's is now open 7 days a week. Monday and Tuesday 4 to 9 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday from 2 to 9 p.m., and on Sundays 1 to 5. The golf season is also here with the Pro Shop open daily from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Golf 18 with a cart Monday through Friday for $39. The rate for 18 in a cart on Saturdays and Sundays is $49. Seniors 55 and over can play 18 with a cart during the week for just $30. You can purchase a special card that includes 20 18-hole rounds of golf with a cart for $660. That breaks down to just $33 a round, a savings of $16 off weekend fees. Looking at starting a golf league? Duck Hollow has league openings on Mondays and Fridays. Stop by the Pro Shop for more details. Bogey's Restaurant and Duck Hollow Golf Course. Call 724-880-9082 for golf tee times or for restaurant information today, or check out Duck Hollow on Facebook for weekly specials.
The summer's here, so why not treat yourself to fun at Walnut Hill Mini Golf, now open Tuesday through Sunday from noon to 9. Enjoy the golf and their frozen custards and drinks. They are simply the best. They were voted one of the best family fun centers in Fayette County. Walnut Hill Mini Golf is located a half-mile south of the Uniontown Shop and Save. Call 724-437-3005. Visit walnuthillminiaturegolf.com or like them on Facebook. They're open Tuesday through Sunday, noon to 9, and they're still for sale. Saving money when you buy a new home isn't a fantasy. It's reality at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. With up to $5,000 in instant savings during the Sign and Save sales event, it's the perfect place to find the home you've always wanted. So don't let your dream home stay a fantasy. Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon today at 4500 PA 51. Terms and conditions for the Sign and Save sales event at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. Available only at participating Clayton Homes family of brands retailers through August 31st. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
Hi everyone, this is Kelly Clark with Autoland Hyundai in downtown Uniontown. 724-208-5281. What makes buying your next vehicle for me worthwhile? I make it a very easy 5-step process. You look, you shop, you ask, you decide. And I listen. Kelly Clark, Autoland Hyundai, 724-208-5281. 724-208-5281. Kelly Clark, Autoland Hyundai. I'll make you a good deal.
It's back for a third year, the 2025 version of Best in Fayette, presented by Nemacolin. Voting is going on now through July 9th at 5 p.m. To learn more and to vote for your favorite business, visit bestinfayette.com. The 2024 Best in Fayette books are still available and can be picked up for free at locations such as WMBS Radio, Shop and Save Walnut Hill, Armstrong in Connellsville, Bittersweet Cafe in Farmington, and the casino at Nemacolin. For more information, visit bestinfayette.com.
If you're an athlete, you know the importance of a strong recovery. NovaCare provides several athletic training programs geared toward athletic-related injuries and collaborates with Albert Gallatin, Uniontown, Fraser, California, Jefferson Morgan, Waynesburg, West Green, and Mapletown school districts to help student athletes stay at their best. From coordinating additional specialist care to treating on-site injuries, their experts cater to your personal needs. Specialized services include concussion diagnosis and rehabilitation and treatment for sport-specific injuries. For more information on athletic training at NovaCare, visit novacare.com or contact your local office today.
Hi, this is Penguins broadcaster Phil Bork, and you're listening to the Sportsline with George Von Benko on WMBS.
And welcome back to the Sports Line on this Saturday morning. Let's go to the phone lines. Open line sports talk. Anything and everything pertaining to the world of sports is on the docket. Love to hear from you on whatever's on your cranium this morning. 724-438-4593 is the number to call. Let's take our first phone call of the morning. Good morning. You're on the Sports Line.
Good morning, George.
Good morning, Charles.
Yeah. Two things to say right off the bat. I would not trade Mitch Keller. I would trade O'Neill Cruz.
Well, he is one of the players that could be on the block. The word is that only two players are untouchables, Paul Skeens and Andrew McCutcheon. That's it. Everybody else can be had.
Let me explain why. First of all, about Keller. They say he's attractive to other teams because he eats innings. He's steady. He keeps you in the ball game, and all of that stuff is true. But I'm not talking about any more this year, George, of course. But if the Pirates fashion themselves to be competitive or contenders in 26 or beyond.
Well, that's an open question, a big open question, because they have so many warts.
I know, but they can't.
But no, you're missing the boat, though. The biggest problem they have is they didn't address. I mean, they got rid of the manager. That's like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. They did not address the main problem, and that is Ben Cherington in the front office. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I said it a long time ago, and some other people in Pittsburgh have written about it now, there is no way that Ben Cherington should be making any of these trades that they're going to make, and there is no way he should be selecting people in the draft. But unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. So that's more mediocrity.
That's what I think, too. He should have been out of there 4 years ago.
Well, look where they are after 6 years. They're worse than they were before.
I mean, but whatever Keller can bring to other teams, he can also bring to the Pirates if the Pirates tried to improve themselves.
By the time they get the ship straightened out in this current situation, Keller is going to be toward, I mean, I don't know how many, this is the 6th year of their rebuilding process now, and look at it.
George, what was it that Huntington and Cooney did that Cherington and Shelton didn't do?
They got them into the playoffs.
I mean, I know they did, but how? What did they do?
Changed the culture in Pittsburgh, made it more attractive to bring people here, signed some judicious free agents, Liriano, Burnett, Russell Martin, people like that. And they had a good manager. I think Clint Hurdle was a good manager.
Of course, Clint Hurdle had a rising McCutcheon, Neil Walker, Pete Alvarez. And that helped.
Well, it did, but that gets back to drafting and development. And right now, I have no confidence in their drafting ability or their development ability.
But the other thing I would trade O'Neill Cruz because I don't think O'Neill Cruz will ever reach his potential with the Pirates because he's too lazy. He's too lazy. He's been told more than once about not hustling. You shouldn't have to be told once.
You just hit the nail on the head, though. What is that a symptom of? What I've been talking about. Development. They are one of the worst franchises in Major League Baseball. with developing their players. One of the worst.
I know.
They're a laughing stock around baseball. Jeff Passan was just on a show in Pittsburgh the other day, the National Baseball Writer, and he asked what the perception around baseball is of owner Bob Nutting. And succinctly, and I'm paraphrasing here, what he said was baseball perceives that he has a passionate fan base and one of the best ballparks in baseball, and he has wasted it.
Well, we know that. We know that. That's, But let me say this. I think if O'Neill was on a club that Jim Leland managed, Cruz would be in the minor leagues.
Probably, yeah.
Because Leland wouldn't tolerate that crap.
But, talking about the Pirates, to me, it remains a moot point as long as the current ownership runs this club the way they run this club. And there is now, I didn't bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up with John Parado. There was a report this week that Major League Baseball and the Players Association, looking at the upcoming contract, which is due to come up in December, are talking, and I hope it's true, I don't know if they'll put a cap in, but they are actively talking about putting a floor in where somebody has to spend so much money. If that happens, that may force Nutting to make a move because he won't spend money.
But, George, there's one other caution, even if they put a floor in. Nutting has to spend, that'll force Nutting to spend money, yes. But will he spend it right?
Well, that gets back to what you've got running the club right now, and Ben Cherington is an abject failure.
The Pirates chose the wrong guy 6 years ago when they chose the general manager.
They did.
They should have chose that guy from Milwaukee. Because he knows how to run a small market.
Well, unfortunately, that's a mistake, and can't cry over spilled milk. What's done is done, and they're worse off than they were before, I think.
But that's the worst thing, is that Cherington is still running this thing.
Yeah.
Cherington.
And I took a look back at his trades since he's been in Pittsburgh. My goodness, the absolute, almost non-return on any of these deals that he has made is mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
Only one, that trade with Philadelphia for Bailey Falter.
Right. And nobody, that was sort of a throwaway deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But
he hasn't gotten return on anything.
No, because he doesn't insist. He doesn't insist on a, comparative return. He'll take anything just to make it. He'll take anything just to make a trade. Of course, the biggest one, we all know what that is. Chris Archer.
Oh, yeah.
That's the worst.
And the warning flags were up. Every scout that I talked to warned me and said, no, he's got some issues. He's not the pitcher he once was, and they went ahead and did it anyway.
But I say, is that the worst trade, or was it Frank Robinson for Milt Pappas?
No, how about Lou Brock for Ernie Broglio?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Boy, I'll tell you, that just handed St. Louis control of the National League for a decade or more.
That's right.
Because, Brock was a great World Series performer, too.
He was, and he was a great guy in the clubhouse, great teammate.
Yeah. As I go out, George, let me ask you this. Are you, maybe you don't know much about him, but are you satisfied with the Penguins draft pick?
No, and there's not much to the Major League Baseball draft and the NHL draft are the two drafts that are crapshoots. Sometimes you'll get a return, but you really don't know about a lot of these kids. The only drafts that you can see immediate return from, because they're finished products, are the NFL draft and possibly the NBA draft. You know, but hockey's probably the biggest crapshoot, bigger than baseball. Now you'll see some guys, and here's what I've been able to find out in talking to some people. They traded their 12th pick to Philadelphia for the 22nd and 31st. Then they turned around and traded the 31st for the 59th pick to L.A. Traded the then trade 31 and 59th pick to L.A. for the 24th pick. Then they went out with the 11th pick. They selected Ben Kendall, a forward. The 22nd pick, Bill Zornan, a forward. And then Will Horkoff, another forward, with a 24th pick. Now, what do I hear about these people? Mixed reviews. Mixed reviews. Many experts consider them middle six prospects, not high-end prospects, but middle six prospects. If there's one thing they did address, it's youth, speed, and size. But that's where we are with this.
George, I know you're not much for NBA, but do you think Cooper Flagg will make good?
I think he's got a great shot. He's very young, but he certainly has the talent.
But traditionally, Duke players that have been drafted first never have really shown that much. You remember the three other Duke players that drafted first?
I'd have to think about it a little bit. I'll be honest with you. I don't follow the NBA like I used to be Mr. NBA in this area. I'm not anymore.
You know who one of them was, George? Remember Art Heyman?
Artie Heyman, yeah.
Yep.
Drafted by the Knicks.
Pittsburgh Pipers.
Yeah. Well, no, he went to the Knicks first.
Oh, did he go to the Knicks?
Oh, yeah. That's one of the great stories. He was drafted by the Knicks and didn't do well. And he was sitting on a train going from Philadelphia to New York, and he wasn't playing. And he was playing in the card game. And Harry Gallatin, the Knicks coach, came and wanted to join the card game. And Heyman threw his cards down and says, you don't let me play in your game, you're not playing in my game. They didn't call him the court jester for nothing.
Then Heyman went on to the member the New Jersey Americans.
And he played for Miami, and then he came to Pittsburgh.
Okay. Well, George, thanks. Have a good Fourth, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thank you for the call. That frees up both of our phone lines. Love to hear from you. Do come ahead with your questions and your comments. 724-438-4593 is the number to call. Once again, that number, 724-438-4593. The number to call. Anything and everything pertaining to the world of sports is on the docket. Do come ahead with your questions and comments. Back in a jiffy.
For professional cleaning services, Clean and Shine in New Stanton is the place for you. They provide commercial and residential cleaning, porter services, carpet cleaning, stripping and waxing, construction cleanups, and car cleaning. For more information on free estimates or hiring, call 724-691-0413, email info@cleanandshine14.org, or visit their website, cleanandshine14.org. We clean so you can shine.
Warm weather is finally here, and with it, the opportunity to upgrade your lawn or yard with a new fence from All Around Fence Company. Conveniently located at 7896 National Pike, Uniontown, All Around Fence has been installing quality residential, commercial, and farm fencing for more than 45 years. Offering residential fencing including chain link, decorative aluminum, steel, and more, All Around Fence has a fence for you. All Around Fence is also your one-stop shop for Neutrina products and carries livestock, equine, and pet supplies too. So whether you need to upgrade an existing fence, add a new gate, or are looking to install an all-new fence, All Around Fence has the answers for you. Visit them Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or give them a call at 724-439-0331. To learn more, visit allaroundfence.com.
Chris Parker Jr., what's going on at Autoland for June?
While other car manufacturers are raising prices, at Autoland, we're lowering prices the whole month of June. We are also offering above Blue Book value in all trades. All this, plus the amazing incentives and financing offers from Hyundai on top of that.
I'm listening.
How about the fuel-efficient 2025 Elantra SE with 2.99 APR for 72 months, or lease for $229 per month? Check out our great selection of all-wheel drive SUVs, ranging from the Hyundai Kona to the full-size third-row Santa Fe, both with 3.99 financing for 72 months. Or choose $2,000 HMF bonus cash on the Santa Fe.
Plus Hyundai Owner Assurance, America's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain protection with every new Hyundai purchased, and 3-year, 36,000-mile free complimentary maintenance. Autoland Hyundai, downtown Uniontown, or visit their website at AutolandHyundai.com.
Remember, you always pay less to drive the best at Autoland Hyundai.
Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group of Janie Montgomery Scott in Uniontown is a proud sponsor of Sportsline. When you work with Janie, it's about going beyond investing. It's about connecting your life and your finances in a way that makes sense for you. The team partners with you through each stage of life to help you set and reach your financial goals. To learn more about the Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group at Janie, be sure to check out their website at www.lhwag.com. Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group of Janie Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC.
Casey's Sports Cafe, located at 243 South Mount Vernon Avenue in Uniontown and owned by the Vernon family, wants you to know they have new hours. Monday and Friday from 7 to 3, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday 7 to 7, and Saturday and Sunday 7 to 2. Come on into Casey's and check out their new menu ideas and entrees. They can also cater your next event. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Casey's is the place to eat. Call 724-550-4126. Casey's, the best in Fayette County.
Hi, this is Bob Walk, and you're listening to the Sportsline with George Von Benko on your local station, WMBS Uniontown.
Welcome back to the Sportsline. Moving down the home stretch here in hour number 1, and I'm gazing at a wide open board, folks. I know we had a lot of interviews over the past few weeks with the Fayette County Sports Hall of Fame, and there wasn't time for a lot of phone calls, and some people mentioned that. Well, we do have time now for phone calls, so it's your chance to step up, get up on that soapbox. I'm gazing at a wide open board. You should have no problems getting through. 724-438-4593 is the number to call. 724-438-4593. So do come ahead with your questions and comments. You know, with Pitt losing their point guard Lowe here during the transfer portal offseason, that was a big concern for Pitt basketball looking ahead. Well, they may have answered that problem area with news coming out that Oregon State point guard DeMarco Minor will be coming to the Steel City to play for the Panthers. That came about yesterday. Accomplished point guard, just what they're needing, and it just fills the bill, I think, for Jeff Capel and the Panthers. But DeMarco Minor will be coming in to play point guard for the Pitt Panthers basketball team. Let's go back to the phone lines this morning and take another call. Good morning. You're on the Sports Line.
Good morning, George. Happy Saturday morning.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I just want to make a couple comments. Number one, this pirate fiasco, you know, this has been going on for how many years now? 20 years, 15 years, whatever it's been. Yeah. It's, you know, like you said, the Major League Baseball it's a joke, and they know that. They laugh at the Pirates. They're laughing all the way to the banks because they're the guys that's making the money, and they're the guys that's spending it because To make money, you got to spend money, you know.
Mhm.
And Pirates, that's not going to happen, and we know that. And back in the day, I'm talking the 60s and 70s with Clemente, Stargell, all them guys. I mean, of course they didn't make the money that these guys make now. But had they made the money that these guys do now, they'd have been the same player, same caliber, because these guys played the game because that's what they wanted to do. These guys here are sitting on a bench and making $10 million. They could care less if they played.
Well, the big thing about the Pirates is they are fourth lowest in payroll, and there are other mid-market, small-market teams that are spending not a great deal more, but more than they are, but they're spending it the right way. The Pirates have not done that. They knew during the offseason that they had significant problems with their offense. They weren't going to generate enough runs. And they had good starting pitching, decent bullpen. And what are you doing with this? They didn't do anything to address the offense. Just spend a little money on some bats. There were some guys out there that they did not even attempt to sign.
Exactly.
And that is negligence on the part of the front office. Now, whether he was constrained and wasn't allowed to spend the money, we don't know that. But, there are ways to do things. And what they're doing now is they're breaking, and I've said it many, many times on the air, they're breaking a cardinal rule in baseball. They're wasting good pitching. You don't do that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And, I look at it this way, too. Like you said, they got probably one of the best staffs in pitching in the league. Bullpen is good. Like you said, they're wasting them. The problem is they're not only wasting the pitchers, they're wasting the fans. Fans ain't gonna come down there. They won't get down there and see a team that looks like.
Well, their attendance is down by almost 4,000 a game, but people will still go because of the ballpark, and it's the cheapest of the major sports where you can take a family and still afford to go. And Huntington is banking on it. But the thing, not Huntington, but Nutting, the thing you got to remember about Nutting is this has been proven in people I've talked to. The way that he spends his money and with the payroll that he has, his payroll with the revenue sharing and other streams coming in, his payroll is paid for already before he even opens the gates.
Exactly.
And,
that's a shame.
he's just putting the money in his pocket.
That is a shame. That's sad because.
But what are you going to do? You can't force him to sell.
Exactly. And I guess we're going to have to wait until what freezes over, because I don't see no changes coming in the near future. And
I still can't believe that they got rid of the manager, which they should have done. Although, as I told Charlie on the first caller, that Don Kelly can do very little. I mean, changing the manager was a cosmetic move. It's like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. The problem is in the general manager spot, and he is in his sixth year. And they are, in my opinion, worse off now as a baseball franchise than when he took over. How is this guy remaining the general manager? And now you're going to let him make all these decisions coming up. I've been yelling my head off about this, and finally some people in Pittsburgh are writing about it. You're going to let him make these trades at the trade deadline when his trades have been abysmal as far as the return that they've gotten, and you're going to let him pick in the June draft, the draft that's coming up. In the draft that's coming up, and he picked Paul Skeens, but you and I could have picked Paul Skeens.
Heck yeah, that was
a no-brainer.
Yeah. I mean, anybody, a 2-year-old could have done that.
Yeah, but what about the other failures? Henry Davis is a colossal bust. But you're going to let this guy make these choices again? No. But that's what we got.
Exactly. Look at Cruz. He's a minor league player at the best, and it's the same. He's 6'7", and he's a heck of a ball player.
There are. Well, that's a perfect example of the fact that drafting and development, they are one of the worst teams in baseball.
Right.
And they did not develop Cruz, and he continues to make mistakes. Now, Charlie said trade him. Okay, so say they do trade him. Dollars to donuts or more than that. They make a trade just like they have with other young players. He's going to go someplace else, and people are going to develop him, and he's going to become a star. Why is that not happening? Why is that not happening in Pittsburgh? Because they're not developing properly.
Exactly. You see that so many times with so many players. Like you said, they'll be a dud here, but you go to New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, wherever, and they're like a fireworks on Fourth of July.
There are former Pirates flourishing all over Major League Baseball,
and you see it every day. And that's just so sad. I hope they get that cap, because that should help the Pirates.
Well, it's not a cap. I don't think the players union will allow them to put a cap in because they want them to spend money. But what it is a floor where you have to spend so much money.
Okay, I misunderstood you. Okay, I'm sorry.
A salary floor, and maybe that would jar Nutting if he has to spend so much money. He might sell the team because he doesn't like to spend.
Well, that might be a better idea too when you think about it, and I'm sure there's enough people out there.
But I've been down this road with the players' union before, and they're talking about it, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Exactly that's the same, because it's an embarrassment to the city. You got 3 franchises down there that bust their butts every week when they're in season, and they got 2 teams that can make the playoffs at any given time, and one team it wasn't for a team that's worse than them, Colorado, it'd be the worst team in the league.
Right.
Okay, George, I thank you very much, sir. You have a great weekend, and happy 4th of July. Please be safe out there, everyone. And nice talking to you, George. Take care. If I take my call.
You take care. And that about puts a capper on hour number 1, but I want you to stick around. More open line conversation to start off hour number 2 of the Sports Line. And then at 11:30, we've been talking a lot of baseball this morning, and we're going to talk more with one of my favorites, longtime baseball writer, John Parado, will join me at 11:30 in hour number 2. And John always has some interesting insights. He's worked as a writer for a long, long time, and I always enjoy having John on. But John will join me at 11:30 in hour number 2 for some very, very good baseball talk. So do not touch that dial. We've got another hour of sports coming up after the news with more Sportsline. The Sportsline is being brought to you this morning by my good friend Tom Vernon and KC Sports Cafe. That's located right here on South Mount Vernon Avenue in Uniontown. Also by the Firestone Insurance Agency in Normalville. And by Bogies at Duck Hollow, now under new management, serving lunches and dinners Monday through Saturday from 12 to 9 and Sunday from 12 to 5. Come on out. Enjoy fine dining and a round of golf. Phone 724-439-2150. Located at 374 Duck Hollow Road in Uniontown. Bogies at Duck Hollow. Okay, that wraps up hour number 1. We've got another full hour of sports talk to go. More of your phone calls, hopefully, and a great guest in John Parado coming up at 11:30 in hour number 2. Right now, though, we are going to pause for the latest news. It comes your way from the CBS Radio Network right here on your local station, 590 AM, 101.1 FM, WMBS, Uniontown, Pennsylvania.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. I'm Wendy Gillette. The Senate is expected to convene in a few hours to start what's likely to be a marathon weekend session on President Trump's spending and immigration bill. CBS News correspondent Willie James Inman from the White House.
President Trump says his so-called One Big Beautiful Bill will deliver tax relief to hardworking Americans.
We'll deliver a record tax cut, a record spending cut, a record investment in border security.
The legislation extends tax cuts from President Trump's first term, removes taxes on tips and overtime, and increases spending for defense and border security.
The Supreme Court wrapped its 2024-25 term yesterday with several major decisions, including one that limits federal judges from imposing nationwide injunctions, including on birthright citizenship. Some opposing groups are filing class action lawsuits. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
When it comes to birthright citizenship, I think there's a good chance that there is a group that will be certified as a class and that this particular executive order may never actually be implemented.
The president of the University of Virginia, James Ryan, submitted his resignation amid pressure from the Trump administration on the school's diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. WTVR TV's Janine Samuels.
Ryan has faced criticism from conservatives that he wasn't following federal orders to eliminate DEI at the school. Ryan also mentions in his post that he planned to step down at the end of the next academic year.
Severe weather brought issues to some flights last night, and the threat continues this weekend in parts of the Midwest and East. CBS's Dana Jacobson.
Intense storms have already slammed Georgia, leading to widespread delays on Delta flights at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. High winds last night forced the Federal Aviation Administration to briefly evacuate the airport control tower at the height of the storm.
Iran held a public funeral for those killed in the war with Israel. CBS's Imtiaz Tayeb was there.
Thousands of Iranians took to the streets in the heart of the Iranian capital for the funerals of the head of the Revolutionary Guard, top military leaders, nuclear scientists, and small children killed in Israeli strikes. The fury at the U.S. and Israel was unmistakable.
One of the world's richest men has tied the knot. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez married in Venice, Italy, where some residents protested, but others shrugged.
He's just spending his money here, passing good time with friends and family, so it's okay for me. I don't have any judgment about that.
This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Sleep well tonight. Try out a new mattress from Route 21 Furniture with a large selection of mattresses, all sizes and comfort levels, with great prices, free local delivery and setup, and financing options. Route 21 Furniture. Open weekdays 9 to 5, Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday noon to 4. 724-737-2222 or Route21Furniture.com.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Saving money when you buy a new home isn't a fantasy. It's reality at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. With up to $5,000 in instant savings during the Sign and Save sales event, it's the perfect place to find the home you've always wanted. So don't let your dream home stay a fantasy. Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon today at 4500 PA 51. Terms and conditions for the Sign and Save sales event at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. Available only at participating Clayton Homes family of brands retailers through August 31st. Demand of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
Truckers have to abide by some new rules.
New federal guidelines are forcing commercial truckers to know basic English. If they don't, they could lose their license on the spot. Jerry Maldonado with the Laredo Motor Carriers Association.
The logic behind it is to ensure that our drivers are out there safely and can communicate.
So they need to know the basics.
If they tell you, turn on your left blinker, and you're standing there like, I don't know what that is, then that's a problem.
And it's at the discretion of patrolmen if they have basic language skills to operate a vehicle.
There's always going to be that fine line between the interpretation of how they execute this law.
Brad Gibson for CBS News.
A new study shows deep sleep can lead to eureka moments.
Go to sleep, go to
The research in Pla's biology shows sleeping on it actually works to solve a problem, even a short period of rest. The owners of a company called Honeydew Sleep say proper pillows are the solution to everyone getting deeper Z's instead of just considering your mattress. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Go to Ford of Uniontown and trade me in.
John Clinton with Dominic Carbone from your 7-time President Award-winning Ford of Uniontown. Folks, this is the final days of employee pricing for everyone, and if you've had the itch or even considering a new car, you need to stop, click, or call and talk with one of my teammates to get all the details. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on this offer.
John, this is just one example of how employee pricing works. We have a 2024 Super Duty Crew Cab XLT. You save up to $8,000 off MSRP or take up to $5,000 off in rates as low as 3.9 for 60 months and 4.9 for 72. Pre-owned, you know we got them. Over 60 in stock and ready to roll. Most are certified with factory warranty.
Keep in mind, we still continue to offer online maintenance appointments, mobile service, and our very popular pickup and delivery service. Your car knows, shouldn't you? That's Ford of Uniontown, on the hill across from Applebee's, or check us out at FordofUniontown.com. Offer includes all applicable incentives, 2025 Expeditions, and 2025 Super Duty, and all specialty vehicles are excluded from employee pricing. You must finance a Ford Motor Credit, and not all buyers will qualify.
For economy, price, and quality service, call Economy Furnace. What's more fun than a summertime bucket list? Did you know that adding a new air conditioner from Economy Furnace to your summer bucket list is a really cool move? Especially if your current unit is old or inefficient? Economy Furnace Heating and Air has partnered with Amana, which is known for reliable performance, high energy efficiency, strong build quality, and competitive pricing. Not quite ready for a new unit? Then don't forget to add a manufacturer-recommended AC tune-up to that summer bucket list. Let us take the worry of a summertime meltdown and keep you calm, cool, and comfortable all summer long. Economy Furnace Company is local and family-owned. Thank you for voting us Best in Fayette 2 years in a row, and don't forget to add voting for us once again to your bucket list. Call Economy Furnace Heating and Air at 724-438-4575. For economy, price, and quality service, call Economy Furnace.
Wow, your dog looks beautiful. We went to Mutt's on Market Street, the new dog grooming salon in downtown Brownsville. Samantha, the owner, has over 10 years dog grooming experience. They work with any dog, any breed, any size.
Didn't it cost a fortune?
No, the prices are great. They offer a full line of grooming and other services.
With warm weather on the way, now's the time to schedule an appointment for your furry friend's spring grooming. Mutt's on Market Street, downtown Brownsville, next to Hope Park. For more information, visit Mutt's on Market Street on Facebook. Mutt's on Market Street will be open during the Market Street repairs. Well, warmer days are ahead, the kind of days when you'll be enjoying your deck or patio again, especially with retractable or fixed awnings from Lifetime Awnings. Made in the USA with manufacturers and customer guarantees, Lifetime Awnings products last. Lifetime Awnings is veteran-owned and operated with a 10% discount to all military veterans and their families. Lifetime Awnings, 724-554-6067. Call for a no-cost or obligation home consultation or email John, the owner, at lifetimeawningsusa@gmail.com.
Are you looking to list or sell your house? Now is the time to let the professionals at Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty help you with all of your real estate needs. Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty has 2 convenient locations to better serve you. In Uniontown area, 724-437-7100, or in Connellsville area, 724-628-7200, and speak with one of our real estate professionals. Visit our website, caldwellbanker.com. We have been proudly serving Western Pennsylvania area for over 30 years and look forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs. Broker Paul Borges Jr.
Oak Pizza in downtown Uniontown is your one-stop shop for the most unique pizzas in the region. From the masterminds behind the Fat Angelo's franchise, Oak Pizza is the laboratory where the Fat Angelo's food scientists test their creations and let you be the judge. With traditional favorites like pepperoni and buffalo chicken pizzas to more experimental offerings like the sesame seed-infused Mad Pie or the spicy chicken pickle pizza, Oak has you covered. Order today at oakpizzas.com or by calling 724-439-5805. Your taste buds will thank you.
Your local station, WMBS.
Welcome back on board for hour number 2 of the Sportsline, being brought to you this morning by my good friend Tom Vernon and KC Sports Cafe, located right here on South Mount Vernon Avenue in Uniontown. The Firestone Insurance Agency in Normalville, and by Bogies at Duck Hollow, now under new management, serving lunches and dinners Monday through Saturday from 12 to 9 and Sunday from 12 to 5. Come on out. Enjoy fine dining and a round of golf. Phone 724-439-2150. Located at 374 Duck Hollow Road in Uniontown. George Von Benko with you as we forge ahead into our second hour. And we continue with open line conversation. Your chance to get up on the soapbox and be heard. Anything and everything pertaining to the world of sports is on the docket. And if you had some problems getting through in hour number one, you should have no problems right now. I am gazing at a wide open board. So do come ahead with your questions and your comments. The telephone number, if you'd like to jump into the conversation, 724-438-4593. Once again, 724-438-4593 is your ticket to conversation. And as I said, anything is fair game pertaining to the world of sports. We've talked a lot of baseball in the first hour. Little bit of the Penguins draft, and we can certainly get into that. And nothing about the Steelers, and training camp begins July 25th. So that's coming up. And, of course, college football is just around the corner. Pitt made a big pickup to help the basketball team with the transfer of DeMarco Minor, a point guard from Oregon State, shoring up a position that was weakened by Lowe leaving. They were weak at point guard, but this was a big pickup for them. All of those and anything else that you might want to touch on pertaining to the world of sports are fair game. So don't leave me hanging, folks. Don't dry up here. We've got a guest coming up at the bottom of the hour, and we haven't been able to take a lot of phone calls in recent weeks because of the Fayette County Sports Hall of Fame and all of the interviews. But this is your chance to shine right now. So pick up the phone and give me a call. Two-way sports talk is the lifeblood of any sports talk show. And as I said, you should have no problems getting through. Telephone number, once again, 724-438-4593. Once again, 724-438-4593. Do come ahead with questions and comments. By the way, this is a really disturbing number, but it's been coming on for a long time because the Pirates' futility has been going on for a good 20 years or so. You know, at one time, this franchise was overall, with their lifetime numbers, well above the 500 mark. I mean, well above. But with this streak of futility that they're going through, they are coming dangerously close to being a franchise that is under 500 lifetime. They're within 3 or 4 games of being, depending on what happened with the win last night and where that put them. They're within 3 or 4 games of being underwater, under 500 lifetime as a franchise. That's unbelievable. And I got news for you. Once they go under, with this regime in place in Pittsburgh, once they go under 500, I don't think they're ever coming back above 500. I really don't believe that. All right. Let's go to the phone lines. Take our first phone call in hour number 2. Good morning. You're on the Sports Line.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I didn't mean to change the subject. I listened to your interview with Brian Joswiak last Saturday. He was really on a really good football team in 1984 that the WVU had that went through quite a few monumental wins down there. It was interesting listening to him. You can tell he still has a real passion for when he played in those days. I thought that was a really good interview, and I just wanted to thank you for interviewing him.
Well, I've known Brian going back to my days at West Virginia because I used to be on the radio down there, and it's nice that those group of guys, Joe Zwiak and Chris Pecan and all those guys that helped put on the golf outing, which is raised, the work that they've done with their golf outing and the other stuff that they do has raised a lot of money for Children's Hospital in Morgantown. They've done a great job. Jeff Hostetler's part of that group too. And I'm lucky that they always invite me back, because most of those guys that come back for the golf outing were guys that I covered back in those days, those Nealon teams. And it's always great to see Coach Nealon. He's the honorary chairman, and I still have very close ties to West Virginia.
Well, does he still live? Does Joe Zwiak, does he live in that area? I know he's originally from the Baltimore area.
No, he lives in Florida now.
Oh, okay. I did not realize that.
Yeah.
He was a big dude. I remember I was actually at that game when Willie Drury ran a kick return like I've never seen before against Syracuse that year.
Yeah.
And they went through some teams, and I know they got banged up at the end of the year and lost a couple games at the end, Temple and Rutgers. Teams they normally didn't lose to, but that was 84. They beat Penn State, snapped a long losing streak.
The Pat Randolph run. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Rodriguez had an interception in that game.
Mm-hmm.
But they had also beat the week before, I believe they beat Boston College when Flutie was there and they were top
Well,
five.
that's an interesting trivia question that I always put out to people. Doug Flutie was a great quarterback at Boston College. He did tremendous things. Flutie never beat West Virginia.
That's correct. Well, I just wonder, and I hope when things shake out in college football that West Virginia ends up with the ACC teams, with BC, Syracuse, Pitt, and some of those teams, because it just seems like they're so out of place where they're at now. And
well, it's a travel nightmare for them. Their closest, well, now it's changed a little bit. Their closest team would probably be Cincinnati and teams like that. But at one time, their closest team was Iowa State. That's 800 miles away.
Yeah, and that's hard on not so much football, but your
well, it's hard on the other sports.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you got to send a volleyball team to Lubbock, Texas.
Yeah, and yet that they're missing class time. You're pretty much 2 days to travel. I just hope.
Well, I don't know how it's going to shake out, and I hope, with these Power 5 conferences, there's a lot of time. The team that is positioned best of all the local teams is Penn State. They're in the Big Ten. They fit in the Big Ten. They've got tons of money, and they're making money off the television contract. Pitt and West Virginia, I worry about them because they very easily, in the restructuring, could be left on the outside looking in. You don't know what's going to happen,
Well, I don't either, but it does seem it's just going to be two power conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC eventually. I just don't know how it's going to all shake out. But I did enjoy that interview, and I do remember him playing on some of those teams they had. I just remember they turned the corner, I thought, when they beat Florida in a Peach Bowl game.
I was at the
game.
And
then turned around the next year and opened up out of
Well, I'm going to test your memory. The running back that had the big game in the Peach Bowl game, Mickey Walzak.
Yes. Yeah, and Oliver Luck was the
Luck was the quarterback. Yeah. I was at the game in Atlanta.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That was at the old Fulton County Stadium.
And it rained. There was a lot of rain in that game too.
Yeah. I was at the Gator Bowl the following year in Jacksonville in '82, and you talking about rain the whole time, and of course that was miserable. Florida State, they beat them pretty good, but that was it rained all night. But I thank you for your time.
All right, thank you for the call. You take care.
You.
Bye bye. Reliving some past memories from my WVU days. Back to the lines. Good morning. You're on the Sportsline. Hello.
Hey, yes. Hey, George. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, okay. I'd like to touch on several different things, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
The first thing is that baseball team of ours. I listened to the game last night, and I thought there for for a while I had the wrong game tuned in or something like that. I couldn't believe what was happening. They finally got the bats out of the bat bag.
Well, but it won't last. They'll win a game
Yeah,
here and there.
I know, that's too bad,
the warts are there, and they're not going to go away.
Yeah, and that's too bad, because a game like that, I mean, I don't expect them to turn it on like that all the time, but just some hitting once in a while makes the games exciting to listen to,
Unfortunately, they will revert to the mean. They do not have the offensive weapons to do that on a regular basis, and consequently, they keep wasting good pitching, which is the worst thing you can do in baseball.
I couldn't agree more. I'll tell you. And that's exactly what they're doing, too, Old,
I mean, they're on a pace. I mean, Kelly's come in and he's done some things, but really, that was just a cosmetic move replacing the manager. Their problems go deeper than that. But they're on a pace to win maybe 76 games.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to win that many. They go into a slump. But, I was listening to another program. I guess it was late last night after the game and stuff like that. And they were talking about how the schedule gets a little bit easier for them second half of the year in the teams that they're going to be playing and stuff like that, But even if they're playing well below 500 teams, that's on par with them. That's what they are.
Right.
So who knows? It's nice to be optimistic.
And historically,
it's going to go,
Historically, with this stretch of bad baseball that they're in over these last how many years, historically, the Pirates seem to rise to the occasion against good teams like the Mets and people like that, and then they stub their toe against teams that they really should beat. That's been their history. That's been their history. Yeah.
Yeah, when they played the Phillies there a few weeks ago,
they caught the Phillies and they caught the Mets at a good time. Both those teams are struggling a little bit right now because of injury.
Yeah. Oh, all teams go through it too. You know what I mean? So, but that's too bad.
I mean, the Mets are down 3 starting pitchers. That's tough to overcome.
Yeah, I'll say. But I love my baseball. I'll tell you, I just wish things would turn around. I know I've said that to you plenty of times before, but it's going to be a long wait, George,
As long as that regime is in place and running that franchise, don't hold your breath.
Yeah. Something else I'd like to touch on, if you don't mind me changing the subject, is the NHL increasing the number of games
from 82 to 84.
Yeah, and it's only 2 games, But the thing is, I have gone to just a handful of games these last number of years because it's getting unaffordable anymore. And
that's a thing I've heard from a lot of people. It used to be an affordable ticket, and they have priced a lot of the average fans out of the building. Right now, it's corporate tickets, corporate people. Mm-hmm. The average fan is, and God forbid you want to take a family. You'd have to take out a small loan.
Not only that, buy a little bit of food and a couple beers and stuff like that. And between parking and driving down there and everything, you're in hawk big time. But
that's why that's why I keep telling people. I said, why don't people stop going to see the Pirates? Because it's a beautiful ballpark. And it's the most affordable sport that there is. Baseball is still the cheapest sport if you want to take a family,
Yeah, and the Pirates, even though they're a clumsy team and everything, I mean, baseball's enjoyable. You know what I mean? You sit there for a couple 2.5 hours, whatever, and sit back and watch baseball. I mean, to me, it's pretty enjoyable. It really is. But the hockey thing, like I said, I've been to a handful of games here. These last few years, I don't go to that many anymore. There was a time when I'd go to about 10 games a year back at the old Civic Arena when you could buy a ticket for $22.50 down close to the ice, but it ain't like that anymore. But I'll tell you, George, extending the season, they'll never do it because of the money, but it needs cut back. I mean, them guys play their hearts out during the playoffs and everything. They sure do. But I'll tell you, there was a couple times over the last few years where I was ready to get up and walk out. They were just going through the motions. And I mean, they were just going through the motions. Both teams, not just the Penguins.
Yeah.
And occasionally I watch a game on TV, and a lot of times I see the same thing.
Well, but you hit the nail on the head. The owners will never let that cut back drastically because of the money. They
Yeah.
you know, the money talks. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, if they're still selling tickets, they'd make the season 100 games if they could and everything. And that's a punishing game. Them guys get pretty much beat up every night. You know, every game.
Well,
I mean,
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a rough rebuild. It's going to take a while to rebuild this team. And Bob Grove was on with me last week, and we were talking, and he put out a tweet the other day. And what's going to make it take even longer is the lack of upcoming players within their system. There are a few, but not very many. McGrory is one. But then, you could throw the rest of the forwards into a hat. They have two promising young goaltenders, but they are still a ways away. So, unless they do something with trades or some other thing, and he's trying to acquire younger players and more size, more speed, this is going to be a tough rebuild. It really, really is. And I don't think they're going to address the biggest problem, in my opinion, and that's the goaltending. I was not in favor of that contract that they gave Tristan Jarry, and they're stuck with it now, and they can't get rid of him. Nedeljkovic is what he is. He's a backup goaltender. So they are stuck with the goaltending situation, and that is a big problem.
That Jarry contract, I thought they had rocks in their head when I first heard about that.
I was against it when I heard about it, and I still think it's – and that's just one of a couple of bad – I mean, they're stuck with Graves. They can't do anything with him, and they're giving him a lot of money. Well, I got to run.
Well,
yeah.
Have you heard anything from your sources? I know it's kind of early about the draft picks.
Well, yeah. Mixed reviews. Most experts considered them to be middle six prospects. Okay. I gotta move along. Thank you for the call.
Right.
You take care.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye. And let's get one more call in real quick before we get to John Parado. Good morning. You're on the Sports Line.
Hello, George.
Yes.
Hey, football's a team sport, right?
Yep.
Why would anybody ever say that Doug Flutie never beat West Virginia?
Well, I'm just saying, as a quarterback, he never beat West Virginia, and they're very proud of that. Yeah.
Well, you should say Boston College never beat West Virginia when Doug Flutie was a quarterback.
No, Doug Flutie.
Yes.
Never, he never. The Mountaineers hang their hat on that, and you can tell me all the things you want to do. He was a great quarterback. He did everything, but he never. He as a quarterback. He never notched how about that way? As a quarterback, he never notched a win over West Virginia. As a quarterback, I said, as a quarterback, he never notched a win over West Virginia.
And I'm right. Quarterback with Boston College.
I said, as a quarterback, he never notched a win. Bye. I'm not going to argue with people over semantics. As a quarterback, he never notched a win over West Virginia. And that's true. We're going to get back to baseball talk with my good friend, baseball scribe John Parado, right after this timeout.
The summer's here, so why not treat yourself to fun at Walnut Hill Mini Golf, now open Tuesday through Sunday from noon to 9. Enjoy the golf and their frozen custards and drinks. They are simply the best. They were voted one of the best family fun centers in Fayette County. Walnut Hill Mini Golf is located a half-mile south of the Uniontown Shop and Save. Call 724-437-3005. Visit walnuthillminiaturegolf.com or like them on Facebook. They're open Tuesday through Sunday, noon to 9, and they're still for
Laurel
sale.
Highlands Wealth Advisory Group of Janie Montgomery Scott in Uniontown is a proud sponsor of Sportsline. When you work with Janie, it's about going beyond investing. It's about connecting your life and your finances in a way that makes sense for you. The team partners with you through each stage of life to help you set and reach your financial goals. To learn more about the Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group at Janie, be sure to check out their website at www.lhwag.com. Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group of Janie Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC.
Chris Parker Jr., what's going on at Autoland for June?
While other car manufacturers are raising prices, at Autoland, we're lowering prices the whole month of June. We are also offering above Blue Book value in all trades. All this, plus the amazing incentives and financing offers from Hyundai on top of that.
I'm listening.
How about the fuel-efficient 2025 Elantra SE with 2.99 APR for 72 months, or lease for $229 per month? Check out our great selection of all-wheel drive SUVs, ranging from the Hyundai Kona to the full-size third-row Santa Fe, both with 3.99 financing for 72 months. Or choose $2,000 HMF bonus cash on the Santa Fe.
Plus Hyundai Owner Assurance, America's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain protection with every new Hyundai purchased, and 3-year, 36,000-mile free complimentary maintenance. Autoland Hyundai, downtown Uniontown, or visit their website at AutolandHyundai.com.
Remember, you always pay less to drive the best at Autoland Hyundai.
NovaCare Rehabilitation in Uniontown is accessible for all of your recovery needs. New at NovaCare is pelvic floor physical therapy, a specialized program to treat patients with pelvic floor dysfunction related to bladder, bowel, sexual function, and pregnancy postpartum. These issues can affect both women and men and include urinary frequency, urgency and incontinence, pelvic pain, constipation, IBS, menopause, painful periods, and more. Call 724-437-0556 for an appointment in Uniontown. Personalize your care with NovaCare. In 1986, the Firestone Insurance Agency in Normalville was started with a promise to provide clients with truthful, friendly, and courteous service. It worked. With an expanded client base, the Firestone Insurance Agency's customers are now able to choose from over 20 well-known insurance companies. So whether it be auto, home, business, or life, Firestone has you covered, and the promise to provide truthful, friendly, and courteous service is still in place. As an independent insurance agency, the Firestone Insurance Agency works for you. They do the shopping for you to save you time and a bunch of needless phone calls. Because let's face it, no one loves to shop for insurance. Call the office at 724-455-3900 or visit FirestoneInsurance.net. Can't make it to Normalville? Let the Firestone Insurance Agency bring service right to your kitchen table. The Firestone Insurance Agency, 724-455-3900 or FirestoneInsurance.net. Doing what is right for the customer, finding the most affordable rates while making sure there are no coverage gaps so you are fully protected from the unforeseen.
Here's a business looking for a customer.
Hi there.
Here's a customer looking for a business. Hi. And that's where the Better Business Bureau comes in. The BBB connects people with businesses they can trust. That's why 2023 IABBB research found 80% of people choose BBB accredited businesses over non-accredited ones with the same A+ letter rating. Live happily, better after. Always look for the sign of a better business because it's looking out for you. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Hi, this is Pirates broadcaster Greg Brown, and you're listening to the Sports Line with George Von Benko on WMBS.
And welcome back to the Sports Line. And just an aside to that caller about Doug Flutie. I've spoken with Flutie over the years on several occasions. And he said that was one of the big disappointments when he was at Boston College, that he never beat West Virginia. And he said the Mountaineers were a thorn in his side, and the defensive game plans by WVU defensive coordinator Dennis Brown at the time gave him fits. Flutie's own words. Enough said. Let's go to my guest. We're going to talk some baseball with one of my favorites, longtime baseball scribe, John Parado. John, how are you doing this morning, buddy?
I'm doing good, George. How are you?
Really good. Always good to hear your voice. There's been a lot of baseball talk this morning, believe it or not. And I think I sparked some of that when I mentioned that all time the Pirates are approaching they're 3 or 4 games away from having a losing record all time.
Yeah.
And the last time that the Pirate franchise was on the losing side of the ledger all time with their record was August 21st, 1903.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Back when you were a young
Yeah,
scribe.
I covered the first World Series that year, of course. Yeah, I said that toward the end of last year. I happened to see that on Baseball Reference. They were getting closer and closer to falling under 500. And I mentioned it to a few people, and they said, it'll probably take a couple years, but it hasn't. I mean, it's almost here now, and, the way this season's gone, I think certainly they'll drop a few more games under 500, and it'll be a dark day for the franchise. Like you said, to go 123 years winning record, and then 122, I guess, and then for it to end, just tells you the sustained amount of failure they've had here with the Pirates, with 22 losing seasons in the last 32 years, and probably, barring some kind of miraculous turnaround, it'll be 29 losing seasons in 33 years.
Wow. That boggles my mind. And the thing about it, and I said this, and I don't think I'm wrong in saying something like this, unless something changes with this franchise, when they go under 500, they might never get back above it.
They may not. I mean, it's been a long stretch of bad baseball. Basically, 30 out of 33 years have been, non-playoff seasons. They haven't won the division title since '79, which is also the last time they were in the World Series. And George, I wonder, I'm 61 years old, and I really wonder if I'll see another World Series in Pittsburgh in my lifetime, unless ownership decides to spend some money. And I think at this point, they need a new general manager, too. I think it's clear after 5.5 seasons that Ben Cherington just has not gotten this franchise up to the level of even competing.
You could make a case that they might even be worse off now than they were when he took over.
I think they could. He inherited Neil Huntington's players, and at that point they had Josh Bell. They had in his prime. They had Adam Frazier. They did have a young Brian Reynolds, a young Kevin Newman, who hit over 300 as a rookie. You could make a point. They're certainly not a whole lot better. That's for sure. If they're not worse, you look at the farm system. They have no hitting. They have some good pitching, but they don't want to trade any of it for hitting, and it's just a mess. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. Meaning Ben Cherington here between now and the trading deadline on July 31st.
Well, you just hit on a very sore spot with me, John. Very sore spot, because I've been yelling about it for a long time, and I think some of the people in the media have started writing about it and picking up the drumbeat. I find it almost unconscionable that they're going to let him, with his trade background, which is abysmal, the return that he has gotten on most of his trades, and drafting and development, they're going to let him make these trades at the trade deadline, and they're going to let him handle this draft. Yes, they took Paul Skeens, but you and I could have done that.
Here's where they painted themselves in a corner by not firing Shelton and Cherington at the end of last season. Once they committed to Cherington for this year, it's going to be hard to find an outside candidate for a GM in the middle of a season, because most baseball people are under contract through the end of October, and a lot of teams don't want to let their decision makers go in the middle of the season. So once they committed to bringing Cherington back this year, that pretty much meant he was going to be here all year, and it's going to be hard to not only find someone who can be let out of their contract in the middle of the season, but secondly, this close to the draft, you bring somebody in and they're starting from scratch. So,
right. Yeah.
Again, Bob Nutting, very conservative with hiring and firing people, and he waited too long to get rid of Shelton and Charrington.
Well, he did, and it just boggles my mind. I was talking, my connection with a lot of the scouts around the game. We used to sit with some of those guys and break bread in the press lounge, and they just talk about two factors with the Pirates. And I'm only singling out these two factors. There are a lot of other things, spending money and other things like that. But they cite scouting, actually three things: scouting, drafting, and development. And they think the Pirates are abysmal in those areas.
And they are. And I mean, history over the last 5 or 6 years has proven it. I mean, they drafted Paul Skeens, and
but I said you and I could have done that. You and I could have made that pick.
That was pretty easy. I mean, he clearly had a chance to be a great pitcher, and he already has become a great pitcher. He's barely over a year in the big leagues. Yeah, but they whiffed on Henry Davis. Nick Gonzalez is finally starting to turn into a pretty good player, but that's 5 years after he was drafted out of college, and you expect a player like that to make an impact a little sooner, an older college player. I do think they may have hit on Connor Griffin, the kid last year, that shortstop they took out of Georgia, or Mississippi, I guess. He's played well in A-ball, but
do you
on the whole,
still cover the minors a little bit? Have you seen him play?
No, I haven't. No, don't have the budget that I used to have to go see all the farm clubs. So
I've heard really good things about him, though, that he's a pretty accomplished young hitter.
Yeah, everybody I've talked to, obviously the Pirate organization is going to brag him up, but I've talked to like scouts and people in other organizations, talent evaluators, and they love him. They think he's going to be great. They think he could be a 30-30 player in the big leagues. The big question is, can he stay at shortstop, or does he have to move to the outfield? And so far he's been okay at shortstop, so we'll see how that plays out.
I got a lot of phone calls in the first hour, John, about O'Neill Cruz, and it is a perplexing situation. We have seen situations like this in the past. I cite Gregory Polanco, at some points a few times, Starling Marte, and some other things like this, but I just look at all the talent this young man has, and I just wonder what is going on. And then we get back to the thing we just talked about, development.
Yeah. It's development attitude in his case. And, he's a guy who disappears some games. You can tell he's not into it. He just doesn't feel like playing. And, last Friday night here at PNC Park, he let a ball get by him in the first inning, which is okay. I mean, everybody makes errors, but instead of chasing after it, he just stood there. And personally, I would have taken him out of the game if I were Don Kelly. But Donnie's rationale was, it's the first time he didn't hustle since I took over as manager, so I figured I'd give him a second chance. But then in Milwaukee the other day, when he failed to run out a ground ball and said he didn't realize how many outs they were, Donnie took him out of the game, and I thought that was very big for a young manager. I think sometimes you have to handle your star players, or as close to a star player as you have here in the lineup, and you've got to set an example for the rest of the team, like saying, hey, this lack of hustle isn't acceptable, which is something Derek Shelton didn't do in his 5 years here. Yeah, there were a lot of lack of attention to detail.
He let a lot of things slide, in my opinion.
Yeah,
he really did.
A whole lot. Yeah.
I thought it was significant too, and the broadcast crew made a point of pointing this out. In his own way, right after that, I think it was the next inning, Andrew McCutchen hit a ground ball, and he sprinted down the line to first base. I mean, he went all out, and they said that in his own way, I think, was sending a message.
Oh, I think so. I think there was no doubt that he sprinted out a routine grounder that he knew he was going to be out on. There was a reason behind it, no doubt. And, there's players in that clubhouse that are very frustrated with Cruz, and they see he has all this talent, and I think it's undeniable his raw talent. I mean, if he ever put it together, he would be a top 5 player in the big leagues. That's how talented he is, and I think there are some teammates there that are tired of seeing this guy wasting his talent, and I just wonder if this happens again, I just wonder if things won't come to a head and really become an issue with this team down the stretch if he continues to take those days off where he doesn't hustle or he doesn't pay attention.
Another guy, and I don't want to just beat up on guys, but I've been looking closely at the numbers for Ke'Bryan Hayes at third base. Boy, talk about below the line. Now, fielding-wise, I have no problems whatsoever, but third base is a power position, and his power numbers and all of the other offensive numbers, I mean, that's turning out to be a very bad contract.
Yeah, that is. That was a mistake on their part to give him a 8 or 9 year deal, whatever it was. I mean, on the whole, it wasn't for a lot of money for most franchises, but for this franchise that rarely spends, it's a lot of money. And I'm just starting to come to the conclusion he's not going to hit in the big leagues. I mean, this is his 4th or 5th year in the big leagues, and he just doesn't show that he could hit. And it's funny, you talk about scouts. I had a lot of them when he was in the minor leagues say, hey, this kid's not, because, he didn't hit many homers in the minors, and the Pirates would keep saying, well, the power will come as he gets older and he gets to the big leagues. And I had a lot of scouts say the power is never going to come. The kid can't really hit for power. And if you don't hit for power, you better hit for average, and he isn't doing that either. And, at some point, they're going to have to think long and hard about, either trying to dump his contract off to somebody or just kind of eating the money and saying, hey, we made a mistake and we're going to have to swallow hard and swallow the rest of that $70 million.
Wow. I was happy to see Mitch Keller notch his first win since March, because if anybody should sue for non-support, it would be Mitch Keller. He's pitched well.
Oh, yeah. He is. I mean, his ERA is 3.90, and that's not like superstar material, but it's better than league average. It's over 4 the league average. So, I mean, he's been an above average pitcher in comparison to the rest of the league. And, that 2-10 record, it's a shame when you look at it in the stat sheet or in the box score, as he certainly pitched better than that. But I will give Mitch a lot of credit. He has never complained, and he's never gotten down about it. And, he went out last night, and he didn't pitch necessarily great. He pitched okay, but he finally got a little bit of a run support, and he got a win. And I'm sure, in fact, I could tell by the look on his face that there was some relief there that he finally broke that 10-game losing streak.
The Pirates, through sources, I guess, revealed to the media that as far as the trade deadline is concerned, 2 untouchables, Skeens and McCutchen. Everybody else can be had. Is that what you're hearing?
Well, I'd heard early in the season they said Cruz was an untouchable. So I find it a little interesting, and I'm not questioning these reports. Now all of a sudden Cruz is in play for a possible trade, and that would be interesting because he does have a lot of talent. They would be selling low on him. He's only hitting 210, but he has leading the league in stolen bases. He has 13 homers. I'd be curious. I would dangle Cruz just to see what kind of offer I could get.
And you know what my biggest fear is? And how many times have we seen this happen, John? We talk about it all the time. They trade him, and somebody else gets a hold of him and straightens him out, and he becomes a star.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
there are former Pirates all over the place that are like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can run down a whole list of them, but I mean, this guy, and I'm not trying to overstate his talent because you've seen him play a lot, and I mean, this guy can do everything. He can hit for power. He can, he's one of the fastest guys in the league. He's got a strong arm. He covers a lot of ground in center field with those long legs. And, I mean, this guy's a 30-30 guy. or a 40-40 guy if he puts it together, but that's a big if.
It is. So other names, it's funny, we just talked about Mitch Keller. He is a name that has popped up all over the place because people are looking for pitching. And the only thing I worry about there is Cherington making the deal. And I think you looked it up and you agree with me. The return he's gotten for most of his trades, boy, I'll tell you, it leaves a lot to be desired.
You know, you really can't look at one trade. And I'm not saying some of the minor deals where you got like a middle reliever or something like that, but significant deals where he traded significant players. He's really got nothing back for any of the guys he traded. I mean, he gave Josh Bell away, gave Starling Marte away. He did get Jack Sawinski for Adam Frazier, but now Sawinski's fallen off the face of the earth. So, his trade record is abysmal, and it'll be interesting to see how he handles this one.
Is that all on Cherington, or can you place some of that blame on the scouting part of the?
I think part of it's the scouts, and I think he's got some bad information from his scouts. But the other thing I'll say is they are so analytically driven, this organization. And I've had people tell me who sit in those meetings before the trade deadline and the draft and everything. He does not make any decision, without consulting the analytics department. And okay, I can see sometimes the analytics can show you some things about players that maybe the regular stats don't.
Mm-hmm.
But to just completely rely on that to make every trade it doesn't work.
Well,
and the Pirates have proven it.
Unfortunately, you and I have talked about that before, too, because a lot of our people are the old-time scouts, and they're on the way out. A lot of them have lost their jobs, and the analytics have taken over. And I think that those guys were the foundation that baseball was built on, and numbers don't tell you everything. You need the trained eye. Numbers can't tell you what a kid's heart is or what his demeanor is,
Yeah, and that's why I was heartened last night before the game. We were game manager session, and which had become much more fun since Don Kelly took over. By the way,
Donnie's one of my favorites. He is.
Yeah, and and I asked him because he was talking about how his first year as a scout with the Tigers in 2017, he had seen Genesis Cabrera pitch for Tampa Bay's Class A farm club, and how much he liked Cabrera. And then 8 years later, it goes full circle, and now Donnie's managing in the big leagues. And the Pirates just added Genesis Cabrera, signed him as a free agent, and he pitched well last night. He retired all 4 batters that he faced. And I asked Donnie, I said, your scouting background, does it translate at all into being a manager? And he was adamant that he learned a lot of lessons as a scout that has helped him run a ball club. So, and he said the same thing. He goes, you have to balance the subjective with the objective. And I think that's good to hear for an organization that doesn't do a real good job of that.
Right. Last question for you, John, and I thank you very much for the time today. There was a report that came out earlier this week, sort of made me sit up and take notice. MLB and the Major League Baseball Players Association, with the contract coming up, are talking about adding a salary floor. Not a cap, but a salary floor. I'll believe that when I see it, but that could be big news.
It could be, and it will force franchises like the Pirates and the Marlins and the not Oakland anymore, but the A's and I'm some other teams that I'm not thinking of right
well,
off the top of my head.
How about Colorado?
Yeah, the Rockies, and I think it will force them to spend, and I think that'd be a good thing. But I'm not a big cap person, but it's getting to the point where I think they've got to at least consider a cap, even if it's high, because the disparity between these teams is too much. But I think a salary floor would certainly close the gap on that.
Well, hypothetical, depending on the amount of money they put as the floor, would that have any effect on Nutting wanting to stay as the owner?
That's a great question. And I hadn't really pondered it yet, but yeah, it could make him want to decide to sell. Nothing else has public pressure. The organization continually embarrassing themselves. That hasn't made him want to sell. Maybe this would when you hit him in the pocketbook.
Right. John Parado, thank you very much for the time you gave me this morning. Always enjoy catching up with you. And I haven't come to the ballpark as much as I used to do, but I'm hoping to come down. I actually spoke with Clint Hurdle. When the Rockies come to town, I may come down to see Clint, so.
Oh, that would be good. Well, we look forward to seeing you.
All right. You take care, John. Bye-bye.
Okay, you too, George. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye. And we'll get a break in and wrap things up here on the Sports Line.
Bogey's Restaurant at Duck Hollow Golf Club is open for the season. Check out Bogey's refreshed 2025 menu. Bogey's is now open 7 days a week. Monday and Tuesday 4 to 9 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday from 2 to 9 p.m., and on Sundays 1 to 5. The golf season is also here with the Pro Shop open daily from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Golf 18 with a cart Monday through Friday for $39. The rate for 18 in a cart on Saturdays and Sundays is $49. Seniors 55 and over can play 18 with a cart during the week for just $30. You can purchase a special card that includes 20 18-hole rounds of golf with a cart for $660. That breaks down to just $33 a round, a savings of $16 off weekend fees. Looking at starting a golf league? Duck Hollow has league openings on Mondays and Fridays. Stop by the Pro Shop for more details. Bogey's Restaurant and Duck Hollow Golf Course. Call 724-880-9082 for golf tee times or for restaurant information today, or check out Duck Hollow on Facebook for weekly specials.
Yeah, they're the people I trust. It's the place I go. Home, warehouse, where a house becomes a home.
This is home improvement season. Home Warehouse in Uniontown is your one-stop shop for all your exterior building needs. It's the place that makes a house a happy home. Looking to add a deck? Home Warehouse carries composite decking materials and maintenance-free railing in a variety of styles. Plus, roofing shingles, metal and commercial rubber roofing, windows and doors, shutters, siding, soffit and fascia, railing, columns, 5 and 6-inch seamless gutters, plus flooring and more. Whatever building products you need, you'll be pleased with the selection and hometown service. So stop in and see Sandy and Donnie at Home Warehouse, Connellsville Street in Uniontown. Shop Monday through Friday 8 to 4:30, Saturday 8 to noon, closed Sunday and holidays.
Home, warehouse, where a house becomes a home.
Saving money when you buy a new home isn't a fantasy. It's reality at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. With up to $5,000 in instant savings during the Sign and Save sales event, it's the perfect place to find the home you've always wanted. So don't let your dream home stay a fantasy. Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon today at 4500 PA 51. Terms and conditions for the Sign and Save sales event at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. Available only at participating Clayton Homes family of brands retailers through August 31st. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
Your health is more than just how you feel today. It's about staying well for the years ahead. At WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital Primary Care, we're here to help you manage your health with regular checkups, screenings, and care that's tailored to you. With locations in Uniontown, Carmichaels, Connellsville, and Scottdale, it's easy to find care close to home. Visit wvumedicine.org/Uniontown today to find the primary care provider who is right for you.
For professional cleaning services, Clean and Shine in New Stanton is the place for you. They provide commercial and residential cleaning, porter services, carpet cleaning, stripping and waxing, construction cleanups, and car cleaning. For more information on free estimates or hiring, call 724-691-0413, email info@cleanandshine14.org, or visit their website, cleanandshine14.org. We clean so you can shine.
Casey's Sports Cafe, located at 243 South Mount Vernon Avenue in Uniontown and owned by the Vernon family, wants you to know they have new hours. Monday and Friday from 7 to 3, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday 7 to 7, and Saturday and Sunday 7 to 2. Come on into Casey's and check out their new menu ideas and entrees. They can also cater your next event. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Casey's is the place to eat. Call 724-550-4126. Casey's, the best in Fayette County.
Hi, this is Penguins broadcaster Phil Bork, and you're listening to the Sports Line with George Von Benko on WMBS.
And that puts a capper on the sports line. Stick around because we'll go into the news and then the Founders Day in Uniontown, the celebration with Matt and Arnie at remote with that. Sportsline brought to you this morning by Tom Vernon and KC Sports Cafe, located right here on South Mount Vernon Avenue, Firestone Insurance Agency in Normalville, and Bogies at Duck Hollow, now under new management, located at 374 Duck Hollow Road in Uniontown. George Von Benko bidding you and yours a very pleasant good afternoon. News is coming your way next from the CBS Radio Network right here on your local station, 590.